Some experts claim that parks promote physical and mental well-being, encourage social interactions, and contribute to environmental sustainability. And the book we are going to talk about today seems to have all of those things. Hello everyone, I'm Irene Ridarelli, writer, blogger, and a passionate reader, and this is Into the Books. I know that I have chosen an odd premise. In fact, I have never thought of parks in this way myself, but after reading Jane Austen's Mansfield Park, I definitely changed my perception of them. I had always seen them as a meeting place, a place to have fun, or a place to go when I feel disconnected from myself and need a moment of peace to breathe and put my pieces back together. And I think with today's novel, you might change your mind too. Sir Thomas Bertram is the owner of the luxurious estate of Mansfield Park, where he lives with his wife Maria and their 4 children. On the other side, we have Frances, Lady Bertram's sister, who lives in more difficult circumstances, so much that she's forced to ask the Bertrams for help, and they agree to take Fanny, Frances's second daughter, to live with them. Fanny is 9 years old when she arrives at Mansfield Park and has a hard time adjusting to the differences in customs between the Bertrams and her family of origin, although her relationship with her new family improves with time. Fanny comes to form affectionate bonds with her cousins, especially with Edmund, until the presence of Henry Crawford is added to the formula for disaster. He is a very laid-back man, particularly with the ladies, especially in the absence of the master of the house. With this in mind, the situation can only get worse. But what about Fanny? Well, she doesn't miss the opportunity to feel guilty. She believes that if she had accepted Henry's proposal of marriage, everything would have had a more orderly and normal outcome. I must confess that I couldn't really find the characteristic Jane Austen style that we all know. In Mansfield Park, the passions, emotions, and torments that she usually described almost to perfection in her other novels were barely perceptible in this book. At times the narrative is slow and full of useless descriptions, while the characters were nearly trivial, in contrast to Jane's great ability to delineate them. Although I am aware that Fanny was barely a woman, she sometimes comes across as too childish, and Edward struck me as a very manipulative man, whereas her hands were truly insufferable. Perhaps the author's intention was to point out the hypocrisy of her time and to show her readers that the morality of the rich was so low that not even the wealth they displayed on the outside could disguise the meanness of their souls. They were so poor in soul that the only thing they had to show off was their money. Of all Jane Austen's book, this is undoubtedly my least favorite. But I decided to talk about this particular novel because I found really interesting the parallelism with today's society, in which many of us are so full of ourselves that we forget what the true meaning of life is. We can have all the money in the world or be the most socially acclaimed, but if in order to have or maintain that, we end up losing ourselves and living with people who make us feel really lonely even when we are accompanied. Is it really worth it? Thank you for joining me to the end of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it all. Please let me know if you have already read this book and leave your comments or opinion about it below. I would love to read them. If you haven't already done so, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell and share this video with someone you think might be interested. As usual, I'll see you next week.